All right. Hello. Welcome. And this is a Just Code section. And as you know, Just Code is just a live stream of the work that I am doing and continue from last time. I was working on the mocktomata and try to fixing a bug, and we identify some issue. And so in this session, we will continue to do that, but we will switch the topic a little bit because when I'm doing it, I also want to explain how the system works. So what I'm going to do in this session is try to go over the process, how it does the simulation, and also adding some logs, right, to describe exactly what happened, what are the decisions that are being made. So in the test, actually I should say in the code, I already have a bunch of logs. So you can see over here that talk about the decision that have been made or the action that have been tracked. So say, for example, it's creating a spy or creating a stub, that kind of thing, right? But how to lead to those decisions was not really captured. And in the last video, I mentioned that, well, it is very detailed, right? Those decisions is really just logic. And normally you wouldn't log those things because it will really crowd your logs entries. And in fact, over here, even for the actions that we are taking, I'm also log it at the trace level, a level below debug, so that normally when you're writing your code and running your code using mocktomata, you would not see these bugs, will not see these logs because it's below debug. So even if you just set it to debug as you normally would, you will not see these logs. And the one that we are going to add is even lower level than this. But you know, for the complexity of this project, doing the simulation things, I feel like it is needed. I do find the need of describing everything. You know, sometimes, you know, if possible, maybe I can just add some comments, but having the logs available allow me to look at the flow of the application and try to figure out exactly what happened. Is there any, you know, hidden bugs? So that's what we are going to do today in this video. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, so to get started, first of all, you can see that the test I wrote is still failing over here. And one thing I changed since the last section is that I moved the test into the framework itself. So let's start from there. Let's talk about the project itself. So in here, this is on the left hand side, you can see the project, and then I have the packages. And then besides this packages, this package folder contains a few of the main packages for mocktomata. And then in the plugin, I have some plugin, but this plugin are actually not being used at the moment because I haven't found a use case for using them. Originally, like say this node fetch plugin, or in the older version in Commodore 6, right? Actually, take it back, it's not Commodore 6, it's even before that, 5 or 4. There was some problem when I was using node fetch with that version, and that needs I think it was needing some customization. But then now, after a few versions and to mocktomata 7, I don't need that plugin anymore. So here is really just a kind of a placeholder placing over here and not doing anything. The same thing for the Node.js. For the FS, you can see that right now it's just, it have some tests over here. And it's doesn't need any additional plugin. The code will just work out of the box. And besides that, there are some test plugins for testing that's used inside the package over there. And then there is this test Node.js, which is the one that I was showing last time when try to demonstrate the problem, right? The problem is in here, it doesn't really need, this is far away from the actual code. So in the last session, I have to run the watch mode, the build watch mode in TypeScript, and then running the test, is a little bit more complicated or troublesome to debug. So in this session, I actually moved the test inside into the framework, because I can actually easily reproduce this issue within the framework itself. It's not something external. It's not something inside a particular plugin, and so things like that, right? It's just some fundamental works of how the simulation behave, right? It didn't check the input param of the call. So I'm able to put it in. And also one change is in here, I am using the incubator. That is another construct in mocktomata that allow you to run the simulation. And the incubator, what it's used for is basically for writing plugins. So instead of like the Commodore or the Mockto or the Zucchini in the mocktomata system, the incubator does not return or produce just a spec function. Instead, it returns this a save function and a simulate functions that allow you to just run the save and run the simulate at the same time. And in fact, this besides the sequence as I'm describing it, incubator, right, just running it like that, you were able to it will do that for you. So in this case, if I'm doing it like that, so you can see, come on, so you can see that it's just like the mockto function. It return the it provide you with the spec name and then with the spec, and the difference is this spec, when it's execute, it will execute both cycle. It will start do a save first, and then it will redo it with a simulation. So that's how this incubator works. And besides that, it also allows you to use this sequence or save mode or simulate mode, just like the other construct. So what we're doing here is using the sequence, which it explicitly gives you the save and the simulate function, so that you can first run the code in for save, and then run the same thing or different thing for simulation. And so that's what I did here. So the code over here is very simple, right? It's just get some functions and just echo it back and some value, some arguments. That's, I mean, actually, let me just simplify it a little bit and make it is a string, returning a string, right? So you can see here, the s is a string, it's a function for taking a value and returning it, right, like that. So I can, of course, I can also check the result, but for this test, I'm testing, you know, passing in with different param, it should throw a action mismatch. So here I do the save, right, by calling, passing in a, and then saving the result, and then I do the simulation again, and then calling the same code with a different param, and it should fail with action mismatch. But what I get is that it didn't. It failed. The test failed over here. So if I save it, let me see, you know, so you can see that expect the function to throw, but it returned B instead. So it go ahead and actually execute it. It's not even returning A, which as a simulation it should do. So you can see then there's some problem over here. And one thing is this code, should I support this behavior? Actually, the behavior, let me explain. So the behavior I'm talking about is that during simulation, right, if it calls the function with the right param, it will do the simulation. If not, it will go ahead and carry out the behavior, and as if it's expected, so to speak. The benefit of doing this or supporting this means the test is more resilient. So even you make a little change in your code, it will not fail the test. But on the flip side, it makes it less accurate, right? So the code you were expecting to call A, but you're calling B, and it still quote unquote work. It does what it does is so so there's a balance, kind of a balance or debate between which way should I go. And I feel like maybe I should support both in the future. But for the 7.0, I don't think I should support this. And in fact, you know, it should be behind some flag to enable that behavior, so that, you know, as a user you will have a choice to how to do the simulation, right? Because if this call, you know, inside the test, this is just a function, right? But in the when you're using it, it can be a function, can be a call to a third-party library, or it can be a service call, you know, like using fetch or using Axial, and which will actually make a call to a live service, right? Which is not what you want, because the test will be executed during CI, and you don't want, you know, every time you run the CI, your production, or, you know, even your your dev server to get hit with some accidental call, right? So that's not what you would expect it to do. So that's why it by default it should not do that. So this explain what I have done, but right now I will for sequence there's no skip. Yeah, there's no well, I can skip this over here. All right. So the test is here, but for this video, again, we're not focusing on this one. We will instead focus on something fundamental, so that we can explain and adding the logs for the system and explain it how it works. So over here, one thing it looks nice is now the this debug works somehow. I didn't do anything from last time. Maybe reloading the VS Code, it is there, it works. But you can see if I run the debug, yeah, it fell. That is something that I was talking about. Well, here it say it can. This time the error is say it can't find model chalk, and that likely because of some configuration settings, and either it was still using some global instance which does not have chalk outside installed, or is the ESM issue, right? Is the maybe the chalk version was version 5, which only have ESM but is running in CommonJS settings. So from the look at this, I think here, let's take a quick look. Yeah, so this does turn on ESM. So it is running in ESM, but the fact that it cannot execute, likely it is using, I don't know what kind of things goes wrong with it, and it is what it is. So I don't know how that works. So back to the topic, and then I'm going to disable it again. Disable. Right, so that there's less cluttering in the code. So here, what we're going to do is going through some of this. Let's start with some very basic thing, and then from there we go through the simulation process so that you can understand what it is, how this work, and I'll be adding the logs along the way. Right, so for the basic check, right, so over here, so you can see that there is a lot of tests, like 2,000 lines of code for testing. And so the first part is testing the basic stuff is not expectable. This stuff we don't have to go through them. Just make sure that it cannot be empty in different cases and so on. So we can skip that. And then the get, right over here. Yeah, so this to do, this is the one that I was talking about, that I should probably behind some flag or something. So this guy is skipped, and then missing action flows, missing info, that's okay. Right, so like that. And since I'm working on it, because in the get section, you can see that there's only really one test. This is skipped, and the test is just missing action. I didn't have more of it because I down below doing the set and invoke and all other tests have sufficient tests to cover all different get case, so I didn't do anything over here. So let's take a look over here. I could add something in here. But yeah, actually, let's start with this one. Right, so get primitive property. So the test, what it does, it expect a simple object, right, a containing 1, and then just doing getting the value a, and then make sure that is 1. Right, so let's start with that. Right, so obviously the test should pass, and then what I'm going to do is adding the option over here, and emit log say to true, log levels or, right, turn on every log. Right, the problem is this is long, and so over here you see, let's go through the existing log first to so you can understand the how that works. So the first thing, I already have this log saying, okay, it's create a target space. So while I'm explaining that, let me also add some comments along the way. Right, so let's see. How should I? Profile. No. Spec record. It's over here. Oh. So in the reference over here, all this state, it has this subject profile. That's the one that I want to look at. So the subject profile in this case is target, right? That's this target input and output. So the subject profile is I have some note over here, but I feel like it's not sufficient. So I'm going to add more. This profile describe what kind of subject we are dealing with. Target mean is the spec subject. The target to the target that we are simulating. So I'm going to even put that in as spec target, like that. Okay, let's take a look at this. So it have this nicely formatted. Right, so for input is a subject that pass into the system from, I think it's from user. So, but I'm going to put an asterisk over here to make sure that, when we encounter it, we can clarify it, make sure that the description is correct. Right, is a subject. I know it's this feels verbose, but for things complicated, and also for really for documentation and make it easy for you when you're using it, it is important to be as explicit, as detailed as possible. Although, the other issue is about, about comments, right? For comments, it could get outdated, right? But the counter argument for that is, if your code is designed properly, have the right separation of concern, is doing, one thing and one thing only, right? The chance for it to change is not that high, right? So it justifies the effort for you to add in all those comments. That returns from the system, e.g. from the target. Okay, also I'm going to put an asterisk over it until we encounter those cases, right? We will validate one by one to make sure that it is what I am describing. Okay. So that's what this target means, right? So over here, it's getting, this is the target subject, right? So here, during the safe mode, it's create a spy to listen, to monitor what's going on with this object. So it returns this subject. Then it's saying USS, meaning you, the user. So this is the first action, right? This is the first reference that is added to the system. So you this saying that your SSA, right? That is the action that you took over here in this line. And then this action is acted on. So this is returning, is a returning action. So I do a convention on this to show how to make it read a little bit easier. So this reference 0, action 0, meaning is this guy, the action 0 on this guy, returning the value 1. Right, and this, since it is just a primitive value, it's just 1, the number 1. So there's no additional things that get created. And then over here, down here, then that's it. This produce a summary of the record that get created, because this, so this is produced when we call the spec done method. So you will see that it just the whole thing about this record, it create a reference. The first reference, reference 0, is what kind of type it is, or which plugin is handling it. In this case is the object plugin, and then the profile is the target, and it has the metadata. And this metadata is provided by the plugin to say, say whatever to save, whatever it want to save, in order when it's get replayed again, knows how to replay it. So here it was just saying, okay, this is it have 2 values. One is specified the type is an object. The second one is the JSON of that result, the value. So, and then this just saying, okay, doing a get, right? Who performs it is the user, me, in this line. And then what kind of action it is get, doing a get call. And then the on is act on this, the reference ID, act on this guy. And since it's a get, it's getting a property. And so the name of the property or the key is A. So this is A, and then now it return, the next action is the code will return the value 1 for the action ID 0. So that's the spec record for this action. And then in the simulation, this is just a mirror of it. Is create a target stub, right? And we access that value, right? The same call. And then this is replaying the result, right? Because it's the stub that is replaying this result. Okay, so that's what happened over here. So in terms of logs, this feels very straightforward to me. And let's see if there's anything we can do to improve the logs a little bit. So let's take a look at it over here. So first, this is the guy that's called to get all the plugins, set the plugin, and then it create a stub. So last time, a few stream ago, I talked about the async context, and that's how it is being used over here. It wait, and so it get the context, wait for it, and what it waits for is mostly waiting for the plugins to be loaded. So this loads the plugin and then start creating stuff with this target. So nothing much over here at this point, right? It created stuff. Let's continue over here. And then it find a plugin. So this will find that object plugin. So here, maybe I can do something about it. Should I log something about this? Create a target. This, yeah, no, I think it's good enough. However, yeah, I have all the information. I do have all the information. So here it indicate which plugin is creating that stuff from. So I do have that info, and so the object saying, you know, is being accessed with that, and then refer. Yeah, so it feels like I don't need to get any additional logs at this level. However, this guy, so in this find reference is here is the same code that we were talking about, right? So let's see. Because what I'm going to do, what I'm doing is I really want to put everything under the microscope, so that I will know if I need to do something about it. Because it's hard to comprehend the application without the flow of the logic. So find reference. Find reference by subject. Yeah, I feel like I don't need to do anything additional for this case. But I will leave this file over here. So then over here, the next step is again get the access by that guy. Is there anything? No, I don't feel like I need to do anything more than that for the simple stuff. So let's move on to the next test. Okay. So the step is the same, right? I get the spy and try to access it, and that. Oh no! Hold on. Yeah, no, yeah, set. Hold on a second. Yes, I only want to run that single test. Oh, because I haven't turned it on. Haven't turned on the logs because it was just too much. Let's see. Yeah, this is inside the system. I'm inside the framework. So when outside, so say Node.js index. So over here, here we create a context, and with this config, and this config function, it actually allows you to configure the setting, some of the setting globally. So the emit log and the log level is over here, so I can configure it. However, over here, what I'm doing is the incubator, I can go here, this is actually creating test context built in, and I'm using that over here. So I don't have the config function over here, and I don't want to expose it just for the test for the incubator. And so yeah, so I have to do that one by one. Right. Another way is I just use the incubator, create context, and then I can I have access to this guy. So meaning, let's see, maybe I can do that. Let's see. So context equal to create test context. For now, I can do that, and then create incubator, doing that, and then I can get this config over here. So then that means I can do a before all config. And then I can emit log set to true and log level set to log level.all. Okay, so let's see if that works. It should work, but never say never, because this is, yeah, okay. So does it print out the logs that I want? No, it seems like it doesn't print it out, which is interesting. Maybe I created after the fact. No, that shouldn't be the case. or I am completely doing it at the place that I'm doing it over here. So let's see. There you go. I was doing it in the wrong place. Okay. So it works, right? So I can save some time while I'm working it, and then I move it to another area as we are inspecting. So the same thing, during the save mode, it created a spy, and we set the value to true. So I print it out like that, and then that, and then it also returned that value because when you do a set, in JavaScript, it returned the value. So it also specified that, and here it doing that, and let's see if it get a little bit more complicated. Well, I feel like for this kind of things, it should be simple enough because we're just dealing with the target spy. Let's look at the next one. Now, yep, so now there's a target spy and then a input spy. So let's see what that's about. Right, so we create a target spy on this object, right? And then we are doing a set assignment, right? Doing a set and set the value A to this B, to this object, B equal to 2. And since it is an object, it's not a primitive value, so then I would need to create a spy for it. Right, so here, this is the pass in the system from the user, right? So that is the case. So that get the input spy, getting that, and then I set the property A with the reference 1, which is this guy, right? I set that to the property A of reference 0. So then again, do the same thing, returning the value, and that's it. And as for the, how about the simulation? Oh, it fell. Set cannot configure. Oh, yeah. Before all. Okay. Because the configuration can only be set before the system started. So that's why the async config allows me to do, the async context allow me to do that. I can, the incubator, before you execute it, it will wait for it, any config to happen. And if you call this over here, then it will set the context, it will update the context, and then when you're using it, then it will get triggered. But if I set it to before each, then it's already triggered, and then you try to do the config, that's not an allowed operation. That's why you see the warning. So over here, this is getting a little bit more interesting, right? I get the input spy. So let's see. In the simulator over here. So let's see when we print out this log, right? So in the create stub, this is where it logs this message, right? This create a certain profile stub over here. So this function is being called the second time. Or actually, maybe I have another. Yeah, build is actually over here. Build testables. So and then the profile is input. So that's what happened over here. So now let's start to get into the meat of this video. So here we are creating a input spy. What is the reason for doing an input spy instead of input stub? I think it's down the road there is some more complicated case, but say for this case, should it be a spy to begin with? Because what happened is let me think. So for simplicity, let me say do this, right, and see what happened. Right, the test still pass. And now this is creating an input stub for b equals to 2. And the testing and the code still works. So let's add the same test over here to make sure that if we just fix this, the thing will work. Set object property with wrong value throws action mismatch. Okay, spec name, spec no, save, simulate. Then I'm going to copy this over here. Going to take this away, and then this will be first doing a save. Okay, and then I let's call this spy, and then repeat the same thing, almost the same thing over here, but this time call it a stub. I don't really need this. Well, actually I do. Let's see, let's call it 2. Okay, and then over here simulate, and then calling simulate, done. Right, this will work. This is identical to this guy, except it's menu is stepping out and then changing the value. So what do we get? So yeah, so this works, right? This works to correctly saying that, oh no, stop. Okay, but it still works. It's saying that, okay, I'm expecting to an object of b with 2, with the value 2, but you're passing me an object of with a property b with value 3. So this fails correctly over here, and so it is in this line, right? So this, let me say a throws, right? Action mismatch. Huh? It didn't throw over here. Where does it throw? Oh, it throws over here. It fails over here. Is the result is not right? No, I want it to fail right here. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to fail it right there. So that means even if I change it to a stub, it's not sufficient. That's not what I want. I want this to fail straight here. So this creates a stub. Where's the value? First of all, let's see, why do I do the make a spy to begin with? So you can see that there are some timeout happen over here. It's probably the more complicated stuff. You know, you can see that this under circular build property and stuff, and these, they just time out when I'm doing this. So if I cancel that and I'm running it again, so this works fine. So that is, you can see that there is a reason why it's set to a spy instead of a stub for more complex case. But in either way, let's say it does need to be a spy, because I know, you know, down when we get to the more complicated stuff, it needs that. And but even when we do that, we need to able to add the ability to this, so that it can, we can still compare if the spy or stub is expecting the right thing, so that it will throw the error right here. Okay, so where does this comes from? It probably come from here, is the set property, and then this is doing the set, right? And then get reference ID action value. So for now, let me, is there a log over here? No, there is a context log. Right, so let's print out before action and after action. Oh, I skipped that. Really? Okay. By the way, over here you have that work thing is big. this error because of there was a test fail in the middle. And what I need to do really is doing this incubator.teardown at the end. It still fell in the middle with some, maybe there's some issue. This is something that I need to look at. But so seems like for now, let's ignore that and focus on the issue that we have. Right, so before is this, and after we get that, right, and the value is the reference. Okay, so this is get the reference ID as it mentioned, is the reference ID over here, and then so we get that ref. The question is, here we have the value, and let's put the value over here. All right, so you can see. Right, so b equal to 3. But we already seen that over here is b equals 2, and it create a spy. Let's also put out the ref. Where's the ref? I don't need the action anymore. I don't need this after anymore. Okay, here. So this it have the meta of b equal to 3, which is the value that get passed in. And what I need is actually not that. I need to there should be an expected. Yep, there's an expected over here. That's the expected action. So it set that to 1, and then I need to also get the expected ref. So back over here, the expected ref, it was saying the 1, the reference 1, which is this guy. Expected ref, but there is a function. Maybe I was wrong. There should be a function to get the expected reference so that it can compare the two. Let me just double check. This test double is actually a spy or is a stub. Over here, when it printed out, it's just like the actual one, the actual subject, but it's actually either a spy or so. But this is typed as any. The question is, I want to figure out how should I handle this. I can handle it before. Well, let me remove these two lines. I can handle it before this test double is created. But likely not. Here I get the plug in from the ref. Hold on. The ref, before I build this in, this ref is this guy. This find the ref. It is this. So yeah, this is the expected ref. The reason it seems like the reason I was looking for the function that doesn't exist is in the past, at some point I was calling this find expected ref, but then later on during one of the cleanup, I thought that it turns out it doesn't really matter, so I simplified it to just say find ref. But in fact, this is getting these refs, which is the validate references, which comes from here, from this record. It is the validator. So this is the actual stuff. So what we are getting, so this is the record that pass in. And then for each of the reference, I just initializing it with some initial setup, right? Initial properties for doing validation. So these, if we go up over here in the validate reference, you can see that it is actually a based on the normal reference plus if it is claimed or not. So what it means is down here, say ref 0, doesn't really matter, right? It have all these properties, including these test doubles and these override profiles. And you can see that here you already have that the live one. The live one is the one that in action. The spec record, this is the one that is actually saved. So it have this override profiles, and then it also have that test double. Where's the test double come from? Yeah, it's straight from the spec record reference itself. I feel like actually this is misplaced. I feel like this is misplaced. Because in the record, I'm not storing the testable, obviously. Let me say, what if I remove that and add it over here? It feels like it actually should be over here. Yep, it is over here. But to make sure, let me do a full build. No. And then the same thing likely can be said for the subject too. And for that, yeah, this is the builder, the reference with this guy, and then for each of them, when it add the reference, is calling this add refs, and this is just that find ref. So we add the reference over here. We have the override profile, the testable, but we didn't have the subject. We did not have the subject, but in the record we do not have the subject either. So I think the subject should be actually used only by the during the simulation. Because here is where we are adding it. Right, this is a place, and then these are the definitions. Right, this is the only place that we are adding that reference, and so that reference is created with these fields. Right, this is a little bit long, so let me. Oh, there is a subject over here, so that's good. Right, so the subject and the testable, and it actually have these override profiles also. So this guy should be over here. Testable, the spy or stub of the subject created by specific plugin. By a specific plugin. So, and you know, because it was so generic down at this level, so I'm comfortable with set it to any. And you know, I can add this as a type of tea, but it is not used. There's no use for it. So and then there's some override profile. Let me see if that is actually being used. It turns out actually is not being used. So let me also add a comment over here. Not being used at the moment, may remove. But I'm not going to remove it right now because you can see that there's still some the problem that we try to solve. And when I was creating this, there might be some logic that I find that I need this. So when I go through all the detail test case, then I will figure out if I actually still need this or not. Right, so with that, at least I can update this. I can add this in, right, and this no, move this in here, remove this too. How about this guy? Okay, just adding the comment. Right, and then this was the change. Oh, this is fixing the issue. Interesting. So this is a refactor. So let me do that. Move subject and test double to live reference. It is misplaced. Those props are not saved in the actual spec record. Okay. I accidentally check into main, which to be honest, sometimes I do for some very simple thing. Right, fixing param sim. Okay, so putting this in. And then this guy, might as well just add that in. And this is just doing tests, right? Update test for ESM. The issue here is because of the ESM issue. So as it switch over to ESM, that .default doesn't work anymore because the reference that it resolve is a little bit different for the CommonJS. Or was it? At least it didn't complain, and then we saw the error on the IDE, right? On VS Code. So we update that a little bit. So what's next? Let's go back to here. So we need to do the comparison. Be honest, I really feel like I should do something at this level, but the value is here. I can change it to also pass in the value so that it can do the comparison. let's see. The thing is over here. So in this test, the plugin being used is the object. So we can see that over here, this is how it created a spy, and this is how it created stuff. So after it returned this is what's set into the testable. And this guy is really just a proxy, right? Nothing else, not much. So we cannot use this to tell it to do some checks, because it's already gone past that. So very complicated. So because as you can see, I need to keep this as a spy for some further cases. It's inside the promise and doing some weird thing, but at the same time I would need to check the result, and this guy doesn't give me the ability to check the result. The meta that we receive is over here. Of course, quote unquote, we can get this metadata, let it play through, right? Play through, where is it? Yeah, here. Play through this step and then inspect the metadata. But if we do that, we have to do it at the very end, right? Not at this level, because this instance will be used throughout the test, so it's not just once, right? You can get some property A and then get a property B and then set some value in property A and so on. And for each of these action, what it can do is it will update some metadata. So it is not good to do it like this. It's not good to do it like this. What can I do? I think I can't even compare it by the metadata. I can't do it, because as I said, the metadata could change in the middle. In this case, it doesn't. It set the meta at the beginning, so it get the subject and materialize. I feel like there might be some bugs over here. I feel like that would be the case. Because the meta could change, right? After you set something and then what? Right, this... Oh, no, I think it's okay. because what happened, the logic for this is it used the meta to save the initial state of the object. So this is an object, right? So it tells the systems that what is the initial state of this subject, right? In this case, this object. It meteorize the subject and then set the value over here. So then it return a proxy, and from there it just simulate the behavior. Then during simulation, it does the same thing by it get the initial state from the meta. It dematerialize it and use that as an initial state. And if there is something that changed, say for example, it set the stuff got a set call, then it will just do the set property as normal. So it's just really replay the simulation. So this is the initial state. So I can compare the initial state. However, this meteorize function, right, is called by the plugin. So it is not something that the framework should call or should compare, because again, there's no way for the framework to know how the specific plugin want to use the metadata. So what do we get over here? This is expect, that is the value, that is the wrong value. If I set it to a stop, no, even if I set it to a stop, it doesn't do any comparison. What should I do? What is the right approach for fixing this? So B is 3. This is the input value. So what I need is some function. Let me call it foo at the moment. And we have the value. And then we have, I think we have the metadata. And what we need to do is expected equals to the meteorize meta. That gives me the what we expected, and then so I would actually put this actual and then I do a comparison to see if it match or not, right? And then this will, if it doesn't match, then I will return false, right, over here. So that's what I should be doing. Is let's should call it is matching. I need to think about a good name for it. So over here I received the matter which is M, and then the value which is actually is a subject. So let's do that. Subject is S, matter is M, and then return boolean like that. So determine if matches the recorded data inside the matter. Okay, so that this is used during simulation. Before creating a spy or stub. So that's that. So here now I can say is matching, and then the subject, and then the matter. Right. So and then let's say return true first. I just want to do a console log. So one thing, well, let's roll with this first. See what we get. Go to the bottom. Well, I haven't do anything yet. I haven't even called it. Is matching what I'm doing. So then over here, we are doing the test, the set property, and it is not defined is okay. And then we build this property context and pass it down over here. And then before this, we find the plugin. Right here is where we find the plugin, and plugin is matching, so that's where we can do some check. Right. So where is the metadata inside the ref? There is the metadata, and the value is we need to pass it in. And yeah, it really can be anything at this level. It doesn't care. So here, let's see. So this guy, we can pass the value in there. That's no problem. And then it's matching ref. Okay. So, and then this guy over here, do we have the value invoked? and what is the value. In this case, this is the argument. So I might, no, it's the subject. Is an invoke function? No, that is not right. So say during invoked, right, the subject is the function itself, but what it needs to check, no, it's not the invoke. So that's okay. So this is the value. So where do we got the value to check? Let's just put in something over here. This I need to figure out what should we put in over here, because in the for the invoked, I believe we already break it down to this argument and then that argument. So what really is the subject? I don't know. Right, and here is building the spide argument for this ref, for this argument. So the subject is the argument. That's no problem. That's clear. The idea is clear. And then over here is the value. Okay, so if we save that, let's see what do we get. It fell. Okay, it still fell. That's okay as expected. So it's matching, right? So we can see that here. So that means how should I compare the two objects? I'm thinking I can use the satisfier to do the comparison. Because I just feel lazy to reinvent the wheel, but I cannot think about what is a good way to do this quick check. I've done this million times. Let's see. So the actual is the subject, right? So return subject and expected. Compare this. So here, if not matching, then throw new action mismatch. Should it be action mismatch? So the actual, this is comparing the action, right? But it's a reference. It's actually a reference error. Where does this reference error come from? lib5 is not mine. So let's go over here into the errors. So we have extra reference. Yeah, we don't have a reference mismatch. So let's actually create one. Right, so you can see, draw some parallelism between the two. Right, so reference mismatch. The spec name, right? We want the actual. This will be just the any is the actual subject, and the expected. Because over here I have the metadata, and the metadata is a value that is specific to specific plugin. So I don't have that information. So I need to do some more things over here in order to get it right. So the recorded data for spec doesn't match with simulation. Expecting reference. And then it will not classify the action. Is there a classified reference? No. Well, but it's still just that. Okay, that's probably what we need. Although the input, how we're putting in here is the problem, because we can call this, include this, come on, include this, and then contact record spec name, that's fine. But and then the actual one is value, but then the expected, what should it be? I feel like this is something that either the plugin will return, or we would change this to let the plugin flow. The issue is that yeah, I can ask it to do that. What I'm thinking in mind is I'm reflecting on reflecting on how it was, the plugin, because when I was working on version 7, at some point the plugin have a function or have two functions to do the materialize and dematerialize function, as an interface, so that the framework will call it and do something. It might not be doing this checking, might be for something else, and then later on as I progress, I find out I don't need it, so I remove that. So what I was thinking is, should I bring those back instead? Because the issue is passing this in, it put the burden to each individual plugin to format this correctly and throw the right error, right? However, I think it should be good. It should be okay to do that. And so spec name, I can ask it to do this, and if not satisfied, then throw reference new reference error, throw reference reference mismatch, right? And then this will be the spec name, and then the subject, and then the expected over here, like that. And of course, in that case, this name, the function name, doesn't work anymore, right? So it should be something else, and will be something like assert subject expected. I don't know. I need to. I really need to think about it right now. That's, programming, naming is the hardest thing to do. Let's see. Let's do that first. And then here, it put in some context. I would want to keep this as a context now. And then see what do we have here. In the stub context, we have that, and then here we have some function. So this is one of the things that I hesitates a little bit, because by doing this, I have to put in the spec name, pass the spec name to the plugin, which it doesn't really care, right? So I can set up this function to not passing this in, so the user, the plugin doesn't need to do this, and instead returning the expected value, because I have the value over here, the subject over here. All I don't have is the expect value. So that's why it's dematerialized. However, yeah, the API sounds weird. It's like I am trying to fit the API to the narrative instead of have the API describe what I want to do. So I'm thinking, okay, this can be returning undefined or something. So if it is not returning undefined, then it means it failed. But that is really a wonky way to do things, because say case in point, in this plugin, one of the plugin is actually for undefined. I actually have an undefined plugin over here. So in that case, what I'm going to return, because the expected value is undefined. so how do I return undefined yet saying it is not undefined? So that's why this, I don't really like, you know, to play around, to hack around an API to fit what I want to do in terms of making the code quote unquote efficient or whatnot. But at the same time over here, this means I have to introduce the concept of spec name, which I want to avoid. Because the less the plugin knows, the better, right? So because you don't want to burden the plugin to know about all those little things. But for now, let's do that. Spec name is a string for now, and see how it goes. So this return, and actually this would be void, returning void, and this will throw. Right, so that's here, and then this will then say plug in assert subject expected value ref meta, like that. Subject, I need to pass in the record, although it's really not a good way to do this. This only works in TypeScript. I would pick, well, actually, let me do that. The fancy way is I use type plus to do a pick, but it's just wasteful. Unless I pick multiple things, then it's too troublesome, then yes. But just for one property, nah, I can just do it like this. So this should work. Right, although we have all this error, we need to figure that out after this. And this should return a reference should throw a reference mismatch. Supposedly, it does not. Why? Why? If it does not satisfy, it should get here. Console.log. So another thing that I would probably pass in over here is to add the logger capability, so that the plugin can contribute to the logs also. But for now, let's keep it like that. Cannot access? What are you talking about? Eh? What is going on? I see. Oh, no, hold on a second. Reference error. Yeah, this is on this line. The first thing I'm thinking about is, but there's probably a circular reference over here. However, I don't see why. I can't see why. This error, you get the types. Oh, here. It's probably because of that. No? Where is this error? So TS spec. I think this will work. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's a circular reference. So this work as expected now. Okay, so let's save all this. And this build testable is we still need to handle the function case, the invoke case. But before that, I need to fill in each of the plugin with this function, right? So assert for this guy, for this guy is really just return, doing nothing, because it will go into this plugin only if the value is undefined and there's no other possibility that it is other than undefined. So that guy doesn't need to do anything. So for this, we do spec name and then subject and expected, right? So I can implement it here, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to return true. Let's all doing nothing first, because I can implement it. It's pretty easy, just a equality comparison, right? But I want to add a test for it, right? I want to add a test for it. So I will keep that like that and doing this. And this guy, say for example for promise, it will probably more complicated, and definitely there's some serious testings needed for this guy. And for this one, for now, it's the same as undefined. It doesn't really need anything. And I can actually define it like that. Right. So let's finish the rest. Okay. So no, I want to keep the params. Oh no. So over here, the instance. Although ESLint won't happy about it, but I don't care. So for the inert value, is this being used? I can't remember what's the case. No one is using it. I think I can remove this. Why are we? Yeah, what's the point for this plugin? I can't remember. Probably need to look up, do a search. But for now, it's okay. Okay, so with that, we can get back to here and take this out. And now let's see. There are a few errors. Yeah. Mask value. Mask value will be a little bit more complicated. Let's start from the top. So with wrong number value for action miss. Oh, okay, interesting. So over here, so wrong number. Right. Why does it throw? Well, it don't have number plugin. This is an object returning a value. So let's see. Let's do this. Keep just that one test. Where are the logs? Hello? Oh, it's a different set. It's a different set. Okay. This up over there. The reason I don't want to just put it at the top because I'm afraid. Okay, let's see what happened. What I feel like I'm afraid is that it will be way too many logs at the end when I'm not just looking at one, and then that will take me for a long time to wait for it to complete. However, for now, let's see. So these, right? So this test, wrong number value for action mismatch. Right, so create spy. This is a function, right? The subject is a function that returning a value. So let's go over it. So create input spy of undefined because the input is undefined. There's nothing get passed in when we are invoking the function. Okay, so and then we invoke the function and then create an output spy because this is output from the code, right? So that's where I get into the during the simulation spy or stub thing, because this value is not created by the user. This is not an object that created by the user and pass in. It's a return value from the object. So when from the subject. or the target. So when we get that, right, this guy we will also need to spy on it in case we are making some change to it, so we can capture all the behavior. So that's what it's doing over here. So get the output spy, right? Invoke that, get the output spy of a equal to 1, this guy, and then it returns, right? Return this reference, and then we set the value to 2, right? And then this, as for the set, it also return the value. So that's it. So that's the action. So 4 actions over here and 3 references. And so during the simulation, so we create a stub, right? Create an input spy, undefined, invoke. So that's great. And then it failed. That's it. Okay, that's is something that I would say I'm afraid it will happen. So what's the error did we get? Doesn't match with simulation. Yeah. So this reference mismatch. And let's say console log error. What do we get over here? So we expect the reference a return 2. Okay, that's completely not what we expected. The value is 2. Oh, the value is not 2. We need to update and get the, let's see. But then I cannot determine. I need to have a way to determine if it is a reference or it is a object. No, I think we are okay. So here is that is the resolve value is over here. So the resolve value, this is where it process and process set resolve the value, and then we actually get the value reference. So I feel like probably I just returned it incorrectly. I'm passing the value in incorrectly. What do I get? In this value reference? Okay. here. It is in the metadata. But the metadata is an array. And which guy is failing? Is the object plugin? Oh shit. The and then the value will get reset. This is actually an array. We are getting the param. Hold on a second. Maybe it's okay. Maybe it's okay. So object here, this guy, let me say console log. What's the meta I get over here? It's probably is the same thing. So meaning it is okay. Right, that is the internal working. Yep, it is the same thing. So we do get that. So that is correct. So that is good. And so the value that we want to pass in, this value, from this guy we got that is the metadata. The value comes from the metadata. Okay, yes, the value does come from the metadata. Because this is a simulated response, right? So meaning the subject over here is a simulated result. So I can't even put in the subject. It's both of them. Quote unquote, this is internal. Oh, I'm going to do a hack, and I would not like it. Actual mismatch. This goes back to actual mismatch. Right, so that is what I want. Only if the value comes from the input from the user, I need to do the comparison. If it's inside, I don't have to. And doing this, making this optional, have the problem of what if the value is undefined. But undefined value, I know for the plugin it will return true. That's why I said this is a hack, right? I want to make it normalized, want to make it uniform. That even for those cases, I can call that, I can go through the same motion to make sure that things are doing what it should be doing. So, but this should be an action mismatch, and so let me change that. Let me just take a look at the result, make sure that it looks good. I was expecting to do a set with a value 2, but you are setting with a value 3. So that's correct, right? That is what I want. So now let's see what else. So you can see that there is a lot of logs, but the whole thing passed. The test passed. Of course, you can see that by the look at me is I'm not satisfied. There's still things need to be done. Right. Let me do it like that. Comment it out so make it easy to turn it on and off. So the question now, let's get to the refactor phase, right? Think about when we're kind of still doing TDD over here. So we make the test fail, now make the test pass, and now is the refactoring phase. How am I going to deal with this? So this function is used 4 times over here. Let me get rid of these logs. So that's a good thing, right? The console log, I have ESLint set it up to say to show it as an error, so it's easy for me to spot where I have some extra logs left over, so I can remove them. So this is used in this resolve value, building the spite arguments, and this place, which is the invoke, and the last one is the separam. The one thing I can do is to extract this. So you can see that this is actually doing a few things over here, and one of it is getting this plugin. And originally in the original implementation, I have this goes in and do this because I have to do this anyway, so I push it down. What I can do is pull these 2 lines up, right? And so that in this case, this is the set property, which is what I really should be doing is do this check when, okay, yeah, when it is not input, when this profile is not input. So I have the ref over here. I can move this down, and this get ref ID, this is just getting it. It's a little bit wasteful over here. Let's do this first. If profile is not equals to no, what I really want is the action is not performer, because the performer is not internal, because just the profile itself is not sufficient, because the input, it can be the system calling a function outside, so it can go either way. So both the profile type, all three type except target, I think, except target, the input and output can both used by the user, or it can be used by the system. So what I really want is the performer is not the not the system. And for that means I need access to the action. And over here, I do not have the action. Right, so here we get the source ID and all that, and that's basically it. So doing this in here doesn't sound right. And the fact it really doesn't sound right. Well, this is the issue, is this is resolved value. Can it be handled by, can this happen from the system? It can be. I think it can be. So yeah, I don't have a good way to deal with this at the moment, because I don't, what I don't feel comfortable of doing right now is the fact that I know all the other types, the other plugin. Right now I just stop it, I put an empty function over there, and so I haven't tested those cases. So if I refactor this, I could mess up those other cases, and then I have to switch back. So over here, what I am going to do now is do this. So to do, I will add the to do over here. And the value is not a good practice. Need to see if we can refactor this better after all case tested. I think we need the action to get the performer and use that to determine should we do the assertion. Okay, so I'm going to put this over here. Well, also right now this is not good because it is not uniform. The value can the assertion is skipped if the value is undefined. So we are not calling the function for the undefined plugin. Yes, it doesn't do anything, but this make the code harder to understand. and there might be some very weird corner case in the future. Right. So I want to detail as much things as possible. So because couple days, couple weeks and months from now, I won't remember this. Of course, I hope I will able to clean it up this weekend, but who knows? Because there's still a bunch of tests we need to do. So, but one good thing is right now the test passed. Right, and with that, let's take a look at this case. Different param, I think, with different param folds. Let's see. Does this? Yeah, so this is still not fixed yet. However, I think we can take a break from here, and so we can. I even feel comfortable for checking this in. What just happened? With all this stuff, yeah, it will fail the build. So okay, I'll take it back, make it looks nice for now. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it like that. Let's build the whole thing, make sure that things are okay. I think it is. It's just doing nothing, but it's good to double check. It fell. Framework build. Oh, some tests are the mock. Okay. Here also. Okay, so that's good. That these are the only thing that has problem. This also missing it, that also missing it, although it doesn't really matter. Missing, yeah, that should be a test over here. Misassert plugin. Although one of the issue is I still not sure about the naming of this. Assert subject expected, that's not a very good name. And then let's take a look. All right, might as well just add that function in there. So let's put it into the bottom over here. It has plugin missing assert what? Assert subject expected method miss assert plugin. So this will fail. This is for low plugins. No, it's not here. Interesting. Where are we calling it? Oh, add module over here. So yeah. So let's add it at the bottom. Type of plugin assert subject expected not equals to a function. Okay, with that, plugin not conforming, plugin module not conforming. How come? Oh, I said it. I did it wrong. Yes. So it should be this. Okay, just missing assert plugin module and doing that. And then over here, missing assert. Where's the line? Where's the line? Damn it. Down here. So missing assert plugin module. So now this should pass. Nani? Nani? I don't have that. What's going on? Miss assert. Miss assert. Go ahead and miss it. Okay, there you go. Let's make sure that build is successful. Okay, plugin dummy build fail. Let's just run that. Because I need to set that assert that function in. There might be some other all this need to be updated. This is okay, this is okay, this is okay. Okay, so let's run it again. There you go. So this all pass. What have we changed? Do we need? Okay. Somehow there was some issue. Let's see. Just watch. Yep. I have reworded that already. Okay, so the log file should be reworded, so that's fine. So we are adding this in. Yeah, we can check that in. Get all this in. Which one is ignored? Oh, this guy. This guy is the same thing. The VS Code on Windows couldn't detect that this is a symlink. Okay. So this, what we did is with reference mismatch for object. Right, still need to do more tests for all other plugins. Added the assert subject expected function should for this should find a better name for it. Okay, so this the change. Alright, so that's just adding it. That's the one that we just saw is the only one that really using it. These definitely will have some problem. And then over here, this is something that I don't really want to add to the log, to the repository. So this to do, yes, I should put that in. Right, so let me close this to do a better comparison. Right, so we add this function. Let's do it one more time. So this is just adding a function, no problem. Adding some description about it. This description is actually wonky. I haven't updated. The assert the subject is the same as the value we kept inside the meta. Plugin should browse reference mismatch if the subject is not the same as expected. Okay, so yeah, determine this is used during simulation. I can still keep that message there, and yeah, that's that. So now that looks good. Let me add that in. So for this test, we add the additional test. Damn it. So where is it? There's an extra line over there. So this the function, that's okay. This okay, have an extra line over here, not too big of a problem. And then this is calling it. This is definitely a problem. Well, I can't figure out what it is, and since we make it an optional, let's do it without to avoid confusing ourselves. So do that, and then we add the error. Right, we're doing this, and then these are just adding it in the plugin. That's it. And then here's the test. Yeah, changing it over here like this is okay. Oh, the incubator doesn't have index. It should have an index. Oh, the index doesn't. The index does not export. Okay, I see. So yeah, in that case, that's okay. Let's keep that over there. Create test context, doing all this. This looks fine. Adding the tear down. Although we still see the warning from the timer, but that's we can deal with that later on. So this is still skip. It's okay to keep that test over here, and then this is the test that we have fixed. Right, so this is right. I actually was a little bit surprised that the other one doesn't. It's probably because of this one. Right, we have a, yeah, it is because of this one. We can easily fix it and then fix that test. But for now, I think this is good. So let's commit, and that's it for this session. So I'll take a break and then continue on this. So if you enjoy this, if you find this kind of struggling interesting, feel free to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. And yeah, the mocktomata, hopefully I can get the version 7 out pretty soon, and then you can try it out. Right, it is right now the last version is actually the beta 0.14 is out there. The basic things, they are working. It's just that this case, the negative case are not being cached correctly, right? So the saving the record and replaying it is working fine. So you can in fact just get the beta and try that out, and let me know what you think. So with that, that's it for this video, and hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something, and we will see you next time. Bye bye.